All right, we're live. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Incubator Weekly show again. We are jumping straight in this week like we did last week. And first thing I wanted to mention is last week we started the show a little bit in disarray because our payments had lapsed on StreamYard. And so we were only able to stream to one provider, one platform. And I've been wanting to test out the Spritz card option.
What is Spritz?
What is Spritz? Good question. So Spritz is a service, and actually, if you could just, I'll do a little screen share here, and hopefully I won't dox too much of myself, but I do want to show it just a little bit. Let's see, window. Let's see, which window? Too many windows.
Too many windows.
This is the one, I think.
Okay.
That's on the wrong tab, but good enough. Okay.
Coming up next.
Yeah. So this is Spritz. Spritz allows you to go. Let's see. Yeah, their command click isn't the greatest. This is fine though. Mm-hmm. So I pay my rent with Spritz. I have a checking account that I can send money to through Spritz. It's basically like a bank, and then I have the Spritz card as well now. It's basically like a bank for crypto people. So you can pay, like it says here, you can off ramp to any bank account. You can set up a Spritz card, which I did here. You can pay your bills with Spritz. I haven't actually set up actual bills yet. I'm still using my legacy bank for that. So instead of sending Dash, and the main thing is that you can do it with Dash. You can do it with Bitcoin. You can do it with a lot of different EVM stuff. So I took the opportunity to set up a Spritz card. I guess I did it for me personally. We also have an incubator one that AJ controls as well. But yeah, if you want to load the card, you just go in here and then send crypto from a wallet or exchange, and then you select the best coin, which happens to be at the bottom of the list, unfortunately. But that's the way.
At least it's on the list.
It's on the list. You can see I've got $475 already. $25 I already paid for the. I paid for the StreamYard account. So StreamYard accepts Spritz, accepts Dash through Spritz, essentially. So just to give people an idea real quick about some of the fees, if you wanted to send $100, this is actually incorrect. I don't know why it just showed that. I think there's a little bit of a UI bug there. Let me back up one and then add another 0. That's better. So
it's $2.
$2 fee. That's the minimum.
That's a lot more reasonable than $20. I thought you're like, whoa, that's crazy. But yeah, no, that's not bad at all. That's
you of all people should know exactly what happened. There's a little bit of a state management issue with their front end. Because I originally put in $1,000, and that's what made the $20, and then I backed it up, and it hadn't updated the fee yet. Anyway, so bug report to Spritz, I guess. So it's pretty cool service, and then you just go pay with Dash, and then it gives you a QR. So if anybody wants to pay, load my crypto card with $100, feel free to scan that QR code in the next 30 minutes. But anyway, I'm going to cancel out of that. If you do open your wallet, by the way, and you have the Dash wallet, it'll pre-populate all these fields. So that's nice. Anyway, that's one thing.
How long have you been using that for?
I've been using that for a while now. I haven't had the card. I've been using it for several months now. Pretty much all of my expenses go through there. But yeah, I've used the card only once now. What else did I want to show here? I don't think anything. Going back to just us for a minute, just to chat.
Yep.
The other thing that I wanted to mention briefly at the beginning of the show here is you, Anthony, have done a little bit of magic with our show notes. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, this is something that I've been working on kind of piecemeal for like almost a year now. Actually, this is a long time in the works where basically, so let me back up a bit. One of the things we talked about, I think last time when I was on like a week or two ago, is that, I had this podcast called FS Jam. And I make a lot of content in general, a lot of video content, a lot of spoken content. I'm on other podcasts. I have my own podcast. So it was like the amount of words I have like spoken into a microphone over the last 3 years is vast and could fill many books. Yeah. But like transcription, especially technical transcription, is hard and time consuming and expensive. At least it always has been in the past. But there's this thing called Whisper, which is a open source transcription model from OpenAI. It's actually the only like open source thing OpenAI has anymore because they've kind of closed sourced all their stuff. But This is one thing that they let the plebs get. So we are able to basically use this model. And I wanted to like automate as much of this as possible. So basically I started with like you would run Whisper and you like get a transcript. And then what I would do is I would kind of like copy paste that into like ChatGPT and be like, hey, create a summary of this. And then it would like create a little summary. And I would like read the summary and I would be like, yeah, that's like pretty good. Like, maybe I'd tweak it a little bit. Sometimes you would get like the names of people wrong, or it would say like the guests instead of like the actual guest name. So, be a little bit of manual editing there, but not a lot. And then I'll be like, all right, cool. Can I generate, chapters with it? And that's one of the really big lifts, is having to like go through a whole video and be like, what are the sections? How do I title the sections? When do the sections start? When do the sections end? And if you feed it a transcript with timestamps, it can kind of figure that out. Sometimes it doesn't quite get the exact times right of like when a section starts or not. So usually you have to listen to it back. You may have to adjust the times a bit. But the descriptions and the titles are pretty accurate. So basically what I did is, and let me share a link in the chat. I have a blog post now about this. I'll share my screen real quick so I can show people this. Hopefully I'm all configured. Great. So this is, and even the cover image here is generated with ChatGPT. This is kind of a blog post where I walk through the whole process, and I use this tool called the YouTube Downloader.
Can you zoom in a bit?
Yeah. So there's this tool called YouTube Downloader that allows you to basically take a YouTube link and then straight up download whatever you want into an audio file. So you basically use this, and actually I can run through. I had a Dash video that I could actually run through this, and it won't take very long. So let me grab this, and then let me grab this. So this is going to do is it's going to basically take this video and output a WAV file. And then this is the Whisper command. And what this does is it runs the actual Whisper AI transcription model. And if you see here, you can kind of see the stuff coming out. So it's talking about central bank digital currencies, all the shitty lack of accountability, infinite money printing of fiat. So you can see, this looks like some Dash content right here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't hold back, does it?
Yeah, I know, right?
Cool.
And then
go ahead.
Yeah. And then this part's not as interesting. I have like this massive kind of Node script or Python script that just kind of transforms the output to make it a little more amenable to being modified. this is the interesting part right here is the prompt. So while that's running, I'll kind of explain the prompt. So the prompt, this is where all the magic comes in. So you've used ChatGPT, I'm assuming at this point, right?
I'll be honest. I have not used ChatGPT. You know what stops me?
What?
I don't like signing up for their service. I want the open source version. I want the version that I can actually pay with Dash and have a monthly subscription to GPT and AI general tooling.
Okay, well,
I don't want Microsoft version.
Yeah, there's ways to do that. I'll get you set up with an open source LLM because like you really gotta start using this stuff. Yeah. So with a prompt, this is basically what you feed the LLM to tell it what to do. So I have a multi-step prompt here that basically says this is a technical transcript with timestamps of a technical conversation. And I ask it to do a couple things, not all of which I really use. This is kind of like just an example of what people who are generating their own content may want to do. So I have it generate 5 potential titles. I have it write a 1-sentence summary, a 1-paragraph summary, and a 2-paragraph summary. So you get summaries of different lengths. I have it create the chapters, and I tell it, make sure the chapters aren't too short or too long. And then I say create some key takeaways and then like potential future topic ideas. So, when I was doing this for Dash, I didn't do like the key takeaways or the extra topics, and we already had a title for it. So basically I just took like this section right here is really the meat of it. Mm-hmm. Then you kind of show it, hey, this is what I want it to look like. So it kind of knows, and they can even like give it to you in markdown format, which is really nice. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I think most of these should be good. Let me do it. I'm going to do it with actually, no, let me do it with the full prompt. So,
and while you're doing that, I probably should have explained a little bit more of today's show. Going through this whole process, Anthony basically made some time-stamped summaries of last week's show, and we're going to do that going forward with all of our shows, because every now and then we'll get some people coming in and saying, oh, this is like 50 minutes. I don't know if this is worth my time. Do you have timestamps or whatnot? So we will going forward, and we could even put these on the shows going back as well, right? So that might be nice. And then for the rest of the show after that, we're going to introduce a tutorial that you made as well for just getting started with web development with Dash platform. So that's the show going forward, and we probably won't get through the whole tutorial, but we'll start it, and then we have scheduled for another stream already for tomorrow, where we'll do it at a more leisurely pace or whatever pace we want, because we try to keep these shows within 50 minutes or so. So yeah, go ahead and finish up what you were saying here.
Yeah. So pretty much done here. So the last step is you just kind of take the transformed transcript output and then concatenate on a prompt here. So I have like a prompt file that includes the prompt, and then I just kind of like smash that together with this. So you can kind of change the prompt if you want, and then you can kind of just generate as many as you want in like a pipeline. And then you see here, this is the output. It's still going. Mm-hmm. Once that finishes, I'll like pop that into a gist so you can kind of see the markdown actually rendered. But if we just kind of look at what it's doing, it's saying, exploring the history and implications of technocracy and central bank digital currencies on global freedom and control. So, it's not like the fanciest summary, but it's functional and it's like broadly correct, you would say, right?
Yeah. Of all of the things in the world that this could be about, it narrows it down pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. So let me pop this in a gist real quick. So we see here, this is the whole show notes. So you got your potential titles, technocracy and CBDCs, steering the future of finance and freedom. Then you got your 1-sentence summary, you got your 1-paragraph summary, 2-paragraph summary. And for this one, it's a short video. It's only like 5 minutes. So it just has 3 chapters, which is pretty good. And then, key takeaways: technocracy seeks to govern society through technology and scientific expertise, potentially leading to increased central control. CBDCs represent a modern application of technocratic ideas, offering both efficiencies and risks for surveillance and control. Understanding and engaging with alternative systems and technologies is crucial for preserving individual freedoms and decentralization. So there you go. Yeah. So that would be, you can take as much of this or as little of this as you want. So what I've been doing for the last one is I basically grabbed this stuff, edited it together, and then grabbed the chapter. So I used a bit of a reduced prompt, but this is an idea of, you could ask it for whatever you want it to do. You could say, I want these show notes, but said like a pirate. You could do that if you want.
Yeah. Cool. So let's show briefly. I'll show my screen again now that we've explained how we did it. So this is last week's show. And I'll just kind of scroll through there so that you people can see. I read this and I think it's, like you said, it's a pretty accurate description of what we talked about last week. So yeah, we'll go through this, and it even these blue links look like they're actual links so that you could actually just throw this into the description and bam, YouTube has the chapters.
Yeah, that's a YouTube thing where the YouTube will sense that you have put timestamps in your description, and that turns those into the chapters itself. So this adds like an extra layer of kind of automation that is native to the YouTube platform itself. And podcasts will usually do that as well. If you were to feed this into like podcast show notes, you could use it as timestamps for your podcast as well. And that was it's going back to why I built this in the first place. I built this for FS Jam. I haven't even used it for FS Jam yet, funny enough, but because the show's kind of been on hiatus. But I wanted this, and I didn't have the time to do this for every single episode, so I've just kind of slowly built up this pipeline. And now that I have it, it's just it's so sweet. And the punchline was all those steps that I went through a second ago, like downloading the YouTube video, running Whisper, concatenating the prompt on. At the end of the blog post, it gives you a single command that does all that for you. And you basically feed it a YouTube URL, and then it runs through all those steps, and it gives you a single file that you copy paste into ChatGPT to get the answer back. And I'm actually using Claude now instead of ChatGPT because it's slightly better. They have the most current model these days.
And is all of these functions, are they accessible through just a straight raw API, or do you always have to use their user interface?
So so ChatGPT has an API, and so does Claude now. Claude was only open for people who would go through their whole system and need to be vetted, onboarding and stuff, but they just opened it up recently. Doing that, you need to do a little more in terms of you need to hit it with a curl command, which may be a little weird, or you can they have Node and Python client libraries that you can use. At the very end of my blog post, I kind of give it a next steps, which is I'm going to have a blog post after that where I'm going to show how to do this with APIs. The downside with that is you're paying per token when you do that. So if you wanted to do this on 100 episodes, you could do that, but it's going to cost you some amount depending on. And this is where you need to be really smart about what do I actually need in my show notes. So, if you just need a description and chapters, you would only do that because you're paying per word essentially. It's fractions of a cent per word, but they add up over time, of course.
Fractions of a cent. So if we were to do this on all of our incubator content, what's your ballpark figure of how much that would cost?
I could not give you a number right now. I would need to run it on an episode, go look at how many videos you have and do the math on that. I really could not give you a number right now that would be accurate.
Yeah. And the follow-up question I had with that would be, is this something that we could, obviously we could, if anybody out there is interested in having this, doing this thing for the DCG sprint reviews, I'm sure that once we got this process ironed out, it would be as simple as just saying, okay, use this YouTube link instead, and do it for the DCG sprint reviews, because I know that would be useful for me personally. And it'd be cool to make this into somewhat of a service where it's just pay us $1 in Dash and we'll pop this out for you as a web app. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so that's funny. That was the same thing my wife said when I showed her this. She's like, "Why are you giving this away for free?" Basically, and there's other services that already do this, basically. So people have built many things like this that you'll be competing with. But this could be a fun thing to build. Actually, that would be like kind of if.
But do any of them do it in a way that I don't have to register? I just have to pay some money.
Sure. Yeah.
Even and crypto, basically, because I wouldn't want to be entering credit cards.
Yeah, I mean, for that, I mean, you can use Spritz, right?
Yeah, but the idea is that we'd want to get people moving on to the money of the future, which is just, scan a QR code or connect a wallet app and you're done. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think many of them are probably crypto enabled yet. And, they're paid. I'm not sure if you could there's not many apps these days where it's like you could pay without creating an account. Like that's kind of rare unless you're like on a porn site or something.
Yeah. Well, that's the future that I want to see. I hate registering for sites. That's one of the reasons I don't use ChatGPT is it's just one more login, one more company that's got my information. I just want to pay for a service and be done. Even if it's a subscription. But anyway, we should probably move on.
You can use the crappy GPT without signing up. It's just not as good.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to the tutorial that you've put together. We can do your screen or mine, doesn't matter. I've got mine up already. But I
mean, I wanted to actually run through these commands and see what happens, especially now that, so let's switch to my screen. Okay. Especially since now we have testnet back up.
Yes.
So let me just make sure real quick. Just double check there's nothing weird on my screen. Yeah, there's our Discord chats right there. So let me close that. Okay. Okay, there we go. Great. Let me screen share.
So while you're bringing that up, I'll explain some of my rationale for both having you do this, as well as us taking some time to go through it. One thing I've been thinking about is who is going to be using Dash platform for data storage. Are we going to be targeting existing Web 2 developers and trying to get them to essentially use our database, use our platform for your applications, even if they aren't necessarily crypto people or libertarian type people? Or on the other hand, are we trying to target crypto people and libertarian people and trying to help them become developers because they have something that requires the value proposition that crypto and Dash platform have, like this is permissionless and censorship resistance and data storage, and if you have an application that you really need this for, then we can help you out, but you need to know some basic web development skills. So the question is it easier to convert a non-crypto, non-libertarian type person to using Dash platform, or is it easier to convert crypto and libertarian type people and entrepreneur type people to get the skills, the basic skills that they need to make their web
application? So, this reminds me of Armageddon. Is it harder to train an astronaut to be an oilman or an oilman to be an astronaut? I feel
What's
like
that from?
Armageddon.
Armageddon. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the whole Armageddon is a movie about an asteroid coming to hit Earth, and so they need to stop it. And the way they're going to stop it is by drilling a hole into the asteroid and putting a nuke in it, and then exploding it into two halves so it goes around Earth. It's such an absurd concept for a movie.
Yeah. Okay.
But the point is they get a bunch of oilmen and train them to be astronauts. And a lot of people are like, wouldn't it be easier to get astronauts and have them trained to be oilmen?
So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. I do remember watching that show. It was like 2 decades ago or something, when it first came out, and I went to at a drive-in movie. If anybody doesn't know that, you take your truck and you park it backwards, and there's a huge screen you watch outside, and it's awesome. And the reason I don't remember anything about that is there's a certain stereotype for when you go to drive-ins, what you do. You don't actually watch a movie.
Sure, yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just gonna get us set up so I can make sure like the first kind of command runs, and then I'll like explain what the heck I'm doing. So we're basically, what I did is, let's hope this works. Yay! Okay, so let me go back and kind of explain what the heck I just did. So
now that it's successful, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what I like to do, I was going back and rewatching some of the videos I did last summer, and this is something I kind of explained, is that I always like to have a full like workflow in my tutorials to the point where I could go back and just like copy paste commands and it's gonna work, and I don't have to worry about like configuring my environment again and just like all sorts of little stuff like that. So this is a tutorial that currently exists right now just in my GitHub, but this will probably be somewhere, more official and easy to find for people in the Dash community at some point. We're still kind of figuring out where it will make the most sense to be, but basically what it does is it takes you from like 0 to 1 with a node enabled Dash project. So this is using the Dash JavaScript SDK. So do you want to talk a little bit about what that is?
Yes, the JavaScript SDK for Node and the browser is basically like the culmination of all things Dash platform. If you want to use Dash platform, this is the one package that you need that wraps up a lot of other different libraries. This is what we were talking about last week, that it is quite big, and we can hopefully slim that down in certain ways. Watch last week's episode if you're more interested in that. But yeah, this is the package for web developers.
Cool. Yeah. So this is basically what I learned to use, and this is like the sum total of my Dash knowledge now is all contained within just this package. So I created basically a ton of node scripts, if you see here, that take the functionality of each kind of chunk of code that are in the Dash docs and kind of stick them all in one project and walk you through a flow of how you use them. So you need to set up a Dash client, and that is what is going to let you basically connect to testnet. So I have a .env here, and as you go through the tutorial, you basically continue to add on to your .env file. You'll create a wallet, you'll create an identity, and the first couple ones are just like actually querying from the chain. So this is get best block hash, and I think that means that's like the most recent block hash, I think is what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And then you can there's getting a specific block hash. I'm going to skip past those and just go straight to the create a wallet and identity, because this is where the important stuff really starts happening. So you are able to run the create wallet function, and if it doesn't have a mnemonic in it already, if mnemonic is set to null, it will generate you a new wallet. So go to this guy. So this is the command right here. And so it's like an async node command, and we're running get wallet account and then exporting the wallets to this mnemonic variable. And then you return that and then just kind of print it. So let's do that. And so there we go. Right here, we have a wallet, and I really make it as simple as possible. It prints it out in the format for your .env. So you just copy paste it straight from the terminal straight into your .env, and then there you go. You're kind of set up.
Beautiful.
So any comments so far on
this is what I love about your work, is you make it as simple as it needs to be for somebody like me that I don't want to mess with. Don't make me think, it's like that book, Don't make me think. Don't make me think as a web developer either. But I know that obviously you do a lot of thinking as a web developer. But
that's the thing. You have to do so much thinking that people can just give you some steps that require less thinking. Like, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, exactly. And it comes back to what I was saying earlier. If you are the type of person who you have a great idea, you know the crypto market well, you know the general market well, and you have something that you want to build, but maybe you're not a great web developer. Theoretically, you could follow your tutorial, and with a little supplemental Google searching and whatnot, you could throw together a basic web application and test a proof of concept. And that's what I want to go for. I think that I do want to target it from both angles, where we're making the oilman an astronaut and the astronaut an oilman. So totally. Yeah, and that's what that I do want to. When we stream tomorrow, I do want to take a little bit more time with this stuff, so that if this is too fast for somebody, they don't really know what's going on, then we can explain a little bit more when we have a little bit more time.
Yeah, let's actually, we do have to stop right here because I'm having some issues with testnet, or not testnet. I mean the faucet. So I just dumped the wallet into chat. Let me send this to you too, Ryan. Can you try just getting some funds into this from your faucet, or from the faucet?
Yes. Let's see. Do you have a link to the faucet handy that you could throw into the chat?
Yes. Yeah, I put it in regular chat and private chat. And someone is in the chat here saying, very well done with the simplicity. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then incorporate some ChatGPT and saying we'll start anything. Yeah, unless they're philosophically opposed to it, I suppose.
Oops.
So faucets are always challenging. You only have the one Dash faucet, I think, is the situ right now.
We have multiple ones, but it's like faucet roulette. Which one's working at any given time? So let's see. I'm gonna do.
My old company, quick note, actually got into fauceting, and I don't think I have a Dash one because that's not one of the chains they support, but theirs are pretty dang reliable. So we'll see if they want to get one set up.
And I'm gonna put in the promo code Masternode to get you a bunch of coins. 1,000.
Hey,
let's see if.
That's the promo code. Ooh, that's the hot tip.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I got the no more Dash come back in 1 hour. It looks like we've drained the faucet.
Okay, well maybe that means I actually got the coins then.
You should try it. Yeah, you should look on a block explorer and see.
Okay. Yeah, let me go back to sharing.
Because I have had I do recall several times where I didn't think I got the coins, but I got the coins.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like I do, because this is the address I just created, and this is our block export right here. We got 3 confirmations. Looks like I'm looking at 3.5 Dash. Yep. Okay, great. Let's forge ahead. So these are the steps here. This looks weird because these are supposed to be screenshots. That I need to just fix that. But now we're gonna copy paste this, and what this is now we have our mnemonic is set to the mnemonic. So we have some .env process variables going on. And yeah, so let's create an identity. And the identity, this is where, yeah, so we're getting to the point where we can create like a Dash name, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, you need the identity before you can create the name on top.
Yep, that makes sense. This command, I think, takes a second to run. So, and then let me just, so people see like kind of where this all came from. So the dash.org, the Dash platform, and then guides and documentation. So what we're running through right now is basically the tutorial on dash.org. So here we have the connect to a network, and this is the kind of client thing. They're showing you how to do it with this testnet account over here. That's still running. And then this is the creating a wallet. So you see here they say, this indicates that we want a new wallet to be generated if you want to get a new address from existing wallet, then replace null with a wallet you've already got. Mm-hmm. So you see here, like there's some differences already in terms of how I set this up. I extracted out the client into its own file, and then I'm keeping all of the functions in separate files. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also using ESM instead of require to get that new school JavaScript. And this is actually one of the things that I remember in the past I was going to like open some PRs and stuff. I think this is actually on. Is this on a Git repo now? Because I remember in the past you're using like README docs instead. Do you know if I can open a PR to change anything here?
You can, but I don't remember exactly how. I'm fairly certain that it is.
Wait, looks like it's right here. Yeah. Great. Okay, cool. So that'll be for another time. But let's see what's going on here. Uh-oh. Okay. So it looks like we got some error. I'm not sure if this is an error with testnet or an error with my code, but this may be where we'll have to call it.
That's probably a good place to stop anyway. Let's do a quick recap of what you did get done there, and then what we have ahead of us in terms of the tutorial. I'm going to open up the document myself. So you did get an identity to work, right? And you got initialize the Dash client. We skipped the querying blocks thing. That's fine. And create a wallet and identity. Yep. Exported the mnemonic. Added funds.
Yeah, that's creating the wallet is the most important step, because everything else in the tutorial depends on having that wallet.
Right, but creating the wallet doesn't require any connection to actual testnet. So I was wondering if we got any of the steps that actually connected to testnet. So maybe that's better for tomorrow anyway. I'm fairly certain testnet is up and running right now, but we will want to see if there's something that we can run that shows that we're connecting to the actual network. But let's
and I'm thinking back to like a week or two ago. This was how far I got last time. Also, so something's still going on with testnet, man.
Okay, cool. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. And just reminder, tomorrow, do we have a time set for our stream?
Yeah, it was going to be I think 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. That would be 2 your time, 3 my time, or we're sandwiched there in the middle. I think. Pretty sure that's what we got set for.
Okay, so if anybody's interested in doing a deeper dive into this tomorrow, join us on the stream. Feel free to ask questions. While we're going to do it at a more leisurely pace and just take our time, and people can ask questions. If you're a developer, especially, join the stream. Next week, I believe we are going to have on somebody. We had a discussion in the Dash Discord a few days ago where we were talking about kind of like the trust model, the trust assumptions when you create an application. Like how trustless really is it if you're using Dash platform and it's doing all this stuff that is supposedly decentralized, but if you're serving that application through traditional means, like a traditional hosting provider, for example, and the developer can change that application at any point and update the service on his server and potentially deliver malicious code, then how decentralized really is it? And then we talked about IPFS. So serving your application through, like, say you wanted a poker game and you wanted to make sure that it was completely trustless, where you start the game and then you have certain assurances that you put the money to the pot, and then that the application just runs and there's nobody that can steal your funds. So we talked about having an application that is audited, just like a smart contract would be audited. You'd have some people auditing the application itself that talks to the Dash platform as the backend and has certain functions. And then once that's kind of audited and has eyeballs that are on it, then you could put a hash into IPFS. And because IPFS serves content that is at an address that is static based on the content, it's content addressable rather than location addressable. Or I don't know if that's the actual term they use. It's been a while since I researched it. But anyway, we talked about IPFS. And so because I have a friend that worked for Protocol Labs, which is the company that made IPFS, I'm going to have him on next week, and we'll talk about some of those assumptions and how to deploy to IPFS, your application to IPFS.
That's cool. Yeah, I know of Daniel at IPFS. He's one of their DevRels. He used to work at Prisma. I've had him on FSJam, and I have a whole IPFS tutorial, actually.
Daniel. Okay, cool. And yeah, maybe we can have him on as well. We'll check that out, and we'll talk some IPFS and probably a third part of this series next week. So if you're interested in that, tune in next week, and we will catch you then.
All right. See you guys next time.
All right. See you, Anthony. Bye.